Let me be
Thank you,
singing
Jesus.
when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before, oh my soul. I worship Your holy name. Yeah, I worship Your holy name.
Thank you, dear friends. This is your brother Evans. I'm glad you're watching. The Lord bless you for joining me again as we divide the bread of God. We break the bread of God together. I want us to read from the book of Luke, chapter number 15 and verse number 11. The Bible says, Then it said, a certain man had 2 sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of goods that falls to me. So he divided to them his livelihood. And not many days after that, the younger son gathered all together, journeyed to a far country, and there he wasted his possession with prodigal living. But when he had spent all, there arose a severe famine in the land, and he began to be in want. Then he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country, and he sent him into the fields to feed swine. And he would gladly have filled his stomach with the pods that the swine ate, and no one gave him anything. This will be a progressive teaching, series teaching on the subject of detached from the source. Therefore, I want to end it there in verse 15. We shall continue, verse 16, we shall continue with it progressively as the Lord leads. And I want to thank God that the Lord has allowed us today to be together in this session. Now, the book of Luke is a book of lost things. The Luke chapter 15 is a book of lost, or a chapter of lost things, because it begins with the lost sheep. It comes to the lost coin. Then we come to the lost son. And it's a chapter full of lost things. I've heard so many preachings on the story of the prodigal son, or the story of the book of Luke chapter 15 and verse number 11. And what I've always heard, that the emphasis have always been on the son, on the prodigal son, which actually the story here speaks about the father, not actually the son. And if I would be given a chance today to rewrite this story again, I would give it the heading of a loving father, because it reveals such a loving father, a father that had all things. It reveals a father that was rich, a father that was wealthy, a man who lived like a king. And the whole picture of this story reveals the true nature of this father. This book begins by saying that a certain man, a certain means the name was withheld, had 2 sons, and among his 2 sons, the younger one, not even the eldest, the younger one, went to the father with a very specific message. The younger one went to the father, and he didn't beat around the bush to drive the message home. He was straight to the point. His mind was focused on one very thing. And he told the father that, give me the portion that lies to me. Give me the portion of goods that falls to me. And, you know, that statement reveals a lot of things in this man. Because in the nature or in the culture of the Jews, none was called a son until you shall have walked with the father closely for 30 years, listening to the teaching of the father for 30 years. That is when somebody was considered a son. And this young man was still far away from that. And he goes to the father to tell the father that I need my portion that falls to me within your estate. Simply, this man was like telling the father that I would want you to read your will, because whenever the father had to divide a portion of his livelihood to his children, he did that when he was no more. It would be as like the father would put down a will, and this will would be explaining how his livelihood would be divided among his people. Now, the young man was telling the father that, give me my portion that falls to me. Give me. He didn't request. He just go to the father and said, give me. And you know, the statement reveals several things about this young man. He was like telling the father that I cannot be patient and wait until you die for the will to be read, then to know what is in the will for me. I have to know it, and I have to know it now, and I have to have it now. You know, that would be like telling the father that if you don't want to give me, I will find another way of having it. That would be ridiculous, because another way would be like killing the father, then quickly access the will and read what is in the will and get what is yours in the will. And if you are not satisfied, then maybe you can begin quarrels with the people that are satisfied with what is in the will. The young man went straight to the father and told the father, I'm interested in one thing, only what falls to me. The young man was not even interested in asking the father, even to inquire that, Dad, you're a rich man. What do I need to do so that I can be rich like you? Or what do I need to do so that I can reach where you are today? Or how much does it cost? What is the amount of commitment? What is the amount of dedication does it cost you to be where you are today, so that one day I would also be where you are today? That is one question that most young people today don't ask their parents. Their mind is focused on what they want, and that's all. And you know, the young man went to the father straight and said, give me what falls to me. And it reveals, number one, immaturity. The young man is immature. And number two, the young man was impatient. The young man was too of himself. He was selfish. He was greedy. He was full of lust. That is all he wanted. And you know, the father did not lecture him. The Bible does not say that the father asked him why he wanted that. You know, in the African culture, or according to myself, my firstborn is 12 years old. And if my firstborn would come to me at that age and tell me, give me what falls to me, number one, as an African guy, I would first of all lecture that young man very well to make him understand the type of mistake he has done. And maybe being an African, maybe you could land on the cheeks of that young man with some rounds of slaps just to make him understand the volume of his mistake so that he can never do that mistake again. But what a father that this man gave out what the young man needed, wanted. He gave him, he divided his livelihood in two parts and he gave him his portion. And after receiving his portion, the Bible says that the young man did not even wait for long, even to be taught by the father that this is what you need to do to maintain this wealth. This is what you need to do to make sure that this wealth will multiply and multiply to your next generation, so that you also will be in a position of one day giving something or leaving inheritance for your sons. You know, he didn't even wait for that. Not many days, the Bible said that not many days after that, the young man took off. Whatever was given, the Bible said that he gathered all of it. If among the things he was given were cars or lands or several material things, the young man sold all these things and gathered that whole amount of money, put in his briefcase, and the Bible said that he traveled to a far country, far from the father, far from home. By leaving home, the young one, number one, betrayed the family values. He betrayed the harmony and the unity and the fellowship of the family. He killed the spirit of the family. He killed the spirit of the father. I was arguing with a friend some years back, and I was saying, why didn't this father just tell his son, no, I can't give you this, or try to stop the son from leaving home? And a friend of mine, a servant of God, a minister of God, told me that the man released his son for two reasons. Number one, he wanted the young man to learn the truth in a very hard way. And number two, he loved him. And this man of God taught me that the people that you love, don't get hold of them when they want to leave. Give them time to leave. Give them that opportunity to leave. And I was like not understanding that very well. How do you leave somebody that you love? How do you want to let go of that person that you love? And he told me that some people will never know your importance until they leave you. Some people will never know the role that you play in their life until they are out of your presence. Then when the harsh realities of life hit them, is when they will know your importance, is when they will know your role in their lives, is when they will appreciate your presence in their lives. So the man or the father did not stop his son. The son left and gathered all and left and went away from the father. And one thing I want to understand before we get to something deeper here. If you have something that never cost you anything, it might cost you your life. David in the Bible one day when he wanted to sacrifice to the Lord, and somebody by the name Araunah wanted to offer him bulls free of charge and a place of altar free of charge, David said, no, I will not offer to God anything that did not cost me. It must cost me something. And I have learned that anytime you are going to own something that you don't know its value, you don't know its worth, you don't know its price or its cost, there's a probability that it might cost you your life. You will never handle well what didn't cost you well. And the young man, after gathering all, he took off to a far country. I want you to understand one thing. The name Father means the source. The name Father means generator. The name Father also means originator and transmitter of life. The name Father also means a teacher. You know, a teacher is somebody who knows something that you don't know. A teacher is someone who understands something that you don't understand. A teacher is someone who have gone somewhere that you have not gone. A teacher is someone who knows. He is giving you knowledge that you don't have. So fathers give knowledge. Fathers teach. Fathers give life. You know, the name Father means the source. This young man got a portion of wealth from the source. And the young man was now running away from the source with a portion that he got from the source. He was running away from the originator. He was running away from the author. He was running away from the generator of what he was having, by the way. He was running away. You know, at some point, the young man could have felt that I need my freedom, I need my space, which might look a nice thing. But I learned from this that whatever you get from the source can only be sustained and maintained by the source. The moment you detach yourself or you disconnect from the source, you lose what you are given. Now, in this context, the source was the Father. And the Father in this context is God. God is the source of everything that we want. And we see this young man running from the source. It's like somebody going to the ocean with a small cup and drawing water from the ocean with that small cup and begins to brag that he owns water. He has a lot of water and running away from the ocean, thinking that he has water, not knowing that after some time, after some few minutes, the small water in that small cup will get off and he will be in need, he will be thirsty again. So the young man ran away. And the Bible said that he went to a far country where he was away from the father, away from relatives, away from home. And there the Bible said that he entered a wild living, a prodigal life. He lived a wild living. The other version say that he lived a rioting living. The man was rioting. He was somebody that would just buy things aimlessly, not knowing that if I don't use carefully this money, tomorrow I will have no money. The man was rioting, you know, living a lavishing life, maybe jumping from this restaurant to the next restaurant, from this supermarket to the next supermarket, from this boutique to the next boutique, from this woman to the next woman, from this man to the next man, from this relationship to the next relationship, from this marriage to the next marriage, you know, from this town to the next town, from this bar to the next bar. You know, he forgot that what he had, he got from the source, and he ran away from the source. The Bible said that he misused what he was having until he lost it all. And the moment he lost it all, there was a great famine that came upon that land. And the man was poor, the man was in want, the man was in need, and the Bible said that nobody gave him anything. Nobody gave him anything, including friends that were only helping him to eat what the source gave him. You know, in this life, there are those people that were not there when you didn't have anything. They were not there when you trusted the source to give you something, but they are only there to help you celebrate what the source made you to be. They are only there to help you celebrate what the source gave to you. And they are only there to make sure that what you have is done. And by the time it is done, you will see them no more. They will never pick your calls again. They will never pass by your place again. They will never like your comments again on social media. They will never put emojis on your pictures on social media again. They will never call you friend again. You will never see them close to you again. You will never meet them in social places that you used to meet again, because their assignment was to help you eat what the source gave you. And the moment you are done, they are done with you. Dear friends, the young man detached himself from the source. And this is what is happening with our generation today. How many times do we go to God when we need a job? Oh God, I need a job. Oh God, I need a good paying job. Oh God, upgrade me. Oh God, give me a better business. Oh God, bless my hand. Bless the work of my hand. God, give me a good wife. God, give me a good marriage. God, give me this job. God, give me this promotion. God, give me this woman. This woman, God, give me this one. This man, God, give me money. Oh, I need to be a powerful man. I need to be famous, to be known. Give me good life. I'm sick. God, heal me. And after healing, these things detach us from the source. So many people have been given the things they need from God, and nowadays they are no more seen in caches. They are no more seen in prayers. They are no more seen in fellowship. They are no more seen in church. Nowadays, their big cars are parked in front of big restaurants or hotels in town, or big bars in town. Nowadays, they have wonderful friends, those people that are of their class. Nowadays, they have even outgrown their churches or their places of worship. They begin to see that such places are not befitting them to go with their friends or to drive their cars to go there. Maybe the type of women they married or the wonderful men they married to are not of that class of going to the certain that kind of church. That environment is not nice for them. They don't want to use what God gave them to upgrade their places of worship or their churches or their families. All they need to do is to ridicule, mock their churches, mock their pastors, mock their people, mock their friends that cried with them before the Lord, trusted God to make them whatever they are today. They detach themselves from those wonderful friends that they used to pray with. They detach themselves from those wonderful places they used to go and have Bible study. They detach themselves from such prayers they used to do at midnight, those morning glory prayers. They don't do such things again nowadays because they are too busy from the same God that gave them what they have. Dear friends, this is what is happening in our time. And I want to remind you, you can't stand if you are not connected to the source. Every river has a source. And the size and the distance or the longer the river is going to flow is determined by the source. The size of the river, the reason why some things will be called streams and some will be called rivers is determined by the source. And the river can never be a river without the source. There must be the source that produces that water, and that water flows down the valley and it causes or it comes up with a river. And the moment the river will brag and detach itself from the source, that is the end of that river, and that thing will acquire another name. Dear friends, you cannot detach yourself from the source and live to tell the story. Right now I'm even using power for lighting, for power, and for other things. There must be a proper mutual relationship between me and the Kenya Power family or the Kenya Power Company. The moment I disconnect my relationship, the moment I don't relate well with the Kenya Power, they will come and disconnect. They will leave me with my extension wires. They will leave me with all my magnificent bulbs. They will leave me with my big screen TV HD. They will leave me with my home theater. They will leave me with my fridge or my deep freezer. They will leave me with my good iPad and phones. They will leave me with all those things. They leave me with my wiring. They will leave me with my sockets, but they take their power. And all the sockets, all the magnificent bulbs, all the nice fridges in your house, all the wonderful TV and electronics are useless without power. That is what you become when you detach yourself from God. The moment you detach yourself from God, whatever you have in you is useless. That is the moment you'll realize that your master's is good only when you are attached to God. And when you are detached from God, your master degree is useless. Your PhD is useless. Let me tell you something. God can do without you, and you cannot do without God. God can do without your degree, without your money, without your house, without your car, without your name, without your power, without your fame, without your beauty. God can do without all those things, but you cannot do without God. You can do without power, you can do without fame, you can do without that, you can do without good papers, you can do without money, you can do without so many things, but you can never do without God. The source can do without you. You cannot do without the source. Dear friends, you need God. The Bible says in the book of John, chapter number 15 and verse number 4, and it reveals that God is the gardener and Jesus is the true vine, and we are the branches of the vine. And the Bible says that the moment the branches are detached from the tree, they are useless. The same way, and the Bible says, let me just read that quickly, please, in the name of Jesus Christ. The Bible says in the book of John, chapter number 15, and verse number 4, it says, abide in me and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself. As a branch, you can never bear anything. You can never be fruitful when you are on your own. You can never materialize to anything. You can never be anything without God. Unless it abides in the vine, neither can you do anything. Without me, you can do nothing. The Bible says that I am the vine and you are the branches, and he who abides in me and I in him bears much fruit. Your production is as good as your relationship with God. Your success is as good as your relationship with God. Your progress is as good as your relationship with God. The moment you go down in your relationship, or you detach yourself, you disconnect yourself, you unplug yourself from God, you are done. Done. The Bible continues that if anyone does not abide in me, he is cast out as a branch and is withered, and they gather them and throw them into the fire, and they are burned. I understand why so many people started well and all of a sudden they wither. Their success begins to blur and begins to wither down. Their families begins to wither. Their business begins to wither. Everything they do begins to rot because they are disconnected from the producer of life. They are disconnected from the originator and the transmitter of good life, the transmitter of good health. The moment you are detached from God, dear friend, you are useless. And this is what so many people are going through today, because they detach themselves from God. You can do without money, but you cannot do without God. You can do without fame. You can do without so many people. You can do without so wonderful things that you have. You are even surviving. You are living without that good house. God bless you the house. You can even do without that good house, but you can never do without God. I don't mean the house is bad. The house is good. You needed that house. But you cannot love that house more than God. You cannot love that car more than God. You need to succeed only when you are in God. Anytime you are going to think of success, you must remain in God. Let me tell you quickly before I pray about the reason why you must remain attached to the source. Number one, you must remain attached to the source because, number one, from the source you get the grace of continuity. the grace of continuity, what I call sustainability, or I call maintenance. When you are connected to the source, you are well maintained. You are able to be sustained. You can continue well. There is progress. Number two, from the source we get stability, and stability is what determines how long you are going to stand. Number three, from the source we get the cover. The cover is what we call refuge or protection. It is from the source that you get protection. Let me tell you, God bless you with a car, and your car is only safe when you are still connected to God. And the moment you detach yourself from God, that is the end of the journey. Let me tell you something. Number four, we get from the source what we call long life. Long life. You can live long when you are still connected. Your sustainability is in the source. Your sustainability is in God. Your maintenance is in God. Number five, we get from the source, that is God. We get divine blessings. And when you are blessed by the Lord, nobody can lay a curse on you. The moment you are blessed by God, nobody can lay any curse on you because the Lord blessed you. I want to end up by telling you, you need God. You need God. Number six, we get direction. And number seven, we get destiny. We shall continue from there, dear friend. And let's meet for the next episode. The Lord bless you so much. And the Lord be with you. Shalom. If you like this video, hit the subscription button and hit the bell so that you can get the next episode when we come online. The Lord bless you in Jesus' name. Hallelujah. Thank you. Thank you, Jesus. Yes, Lord.